Hiya guys! Today we are going to be making a Palmtop inspired by Link's Awakening. I never had a chance to play the original Link's Awakening when it came out, but when I saw that they were remaking it, and I got so excited because then I was going to have a chance to play it on the Switch, and the art style, oh, it's so cute. It is one of the cutest games I have ever seen. It's like the Link's Awakening remake and Animal Crossing. That's top tier cuteness right there. And I just had to make a Palmtop inspired by the island that the entire game takes place on. And I hope you guys will really enjoy it. So let's go clay. Starting off, I have some beige and some translucent blue clay, and I just rolled them out, and I am cutting them into a circle. And the beige, since it is the island, I am cutting it into a smaller circle and kind of changing the sizes because the island isn't a perfect circle, so I'm kind of giving it some ins and outs all over the place. And I'm pretty happy with the shape, so I'm going to go ahead and blend down the sides of the blue. And I'm going to realize that that island is way too big, so I will trim it until I am happy with it, and then I'm going to blend down the sides on the island itself. And then I'm going to take the island and I'm going to place it back on the water and trace around the outline and then cut it with my knife or my blade. And then I'm going to just kind of gut it out and take out all those insides so I can take the island and put it right nicely, snugly inside. And then I'm going to take my larger ball tool and just kind of blend those pieces together because the water is going to be coming kind of onto the island. It is a beach after all. And I'm just going to keep blending and cleaning and pushing the water kind of on top of the island as if it is coming onto, as if it's coming onto the island. And I'm just going to clean up the bottom, rounding it out so it's not so flat. Okay, now I'm going to work on the mountain. So I'm going to make a Hershey kiss, basically. And I'm going to take a bunch of other little cone shaped pieces and I'm going to place them all along the outside of my Hershey kiss to give the texture of the mountain. And when I'm happy with the size and shape, I am going to start blending. This took a long time and the clay started getting soft and moving around on me and I was getting a little frustrated. But I think the end result was really nice. I like the textures in the mountain. So I'm just taking my line tool or needle tool and I'm creating more just sharp grooves along the mountain to make it look a little bit more rock-like and just a little bit more natural. Texturing with a toothbrush as I go. And I do believe I used some foil to, yes, texture it up just a little bit more to make it just look like an actual mountain. Then I cut off the top and I'm just pinching all around the sides, that way the egg has somewhere snugly to sit. And I decide that it needed a little bit something else, so I take some dark brown chalk pastel and then a little bit of orange just to give it a little bit more depth. Okay, now that I'm happy with the mountain, I'm gonna add a little bit more to the water. I am going to take some white pearl powder and go just along the shoreline, and then a darker pearl powder to go along the edges. Now I realize this is like my third Palmtop that has water in it, and none of them have water done the same way. So, proves that you can just change it up however you like, and it's fun all the time. And now I'm just taking my silicone blender tool and just, although it looks rather aggressively, I am very lightly just adding texture very gently all across to make it look a little bit more like water. And then I'm just going to clean up the pearl powder from the beach because the beach is not shiny, and take my toothbrush and texture up that sand. Now to add the grass, I am taking a bright green clay because this game is full of color, And I'm going to just kind of jigsaw puzzle piece it across. I want to keep it kind of around the shoreline. So I'm just taking piece by piece and blending it all together to make a solid circle around the entire island. And then I'm just going to texture that grass just a little bit. And then I'm going to place the mountain back with some bacon bond to hold it a little bit more securely. And now I'm going to take a long snake of clay and cut down a lot of little pieces and roll them into little tiny snakes. And I'm going to place 2 to 3 little snakes or blades of grass into each little nook and cranny along the side of the mountain, just to give it a little bit more dimension. That's the wrong word. It makes it look nice. I guess that's dimension. Anyway, moving on to the egg, I am going to mix some pink and kind of purplish maroon color clay to get the spots. And then for the egg, I'm just taking white clay, rolling into a ball, and then very gently kind of pinching up at the top to get that egg shape. And for some reason, when you actually want to make an egg, it is very difficult to get the perfect egg shape. But this is the centerpiece of the figure, so it just had to be perfect. I'm just cleaning up the mountain just a little bit, and now I am going to put a pin in the mountain because the egg is going to be on a wire, and then I'm going to just roll out a bunch of really odd different shaped spots for the egg. Not all of them are circles, so some have more of like a wave movement to it. I put spots on the egg, and now I'm putting the egg in the mountain. That's it. And the island was looking a little bare, so my husband suggested to add some flora. So I am making a little itty bitty teeny weeny palm tree to go on my island. I am just rolling and realizing, oh my gosh, this tree is very small. And so I'm happy with the size of it, and I decided that I was going to kind of do the same thing that I did on the mountain, taking little pieces along the edge to give it that kind of flared out look that the trees in the game have. But I realized that really didn't matter because this tree is so small, and the wire that I put it on kind of just messed it up anyway. So I just pressed in little indentions with my tool as I placed it on. Now to make the palm leaves, just cutting out some darker green clay than I used for the grass. And to make the leaves, I just took a little ball, pinched it into a flat circle, and then pulled out the end so you have that teardrop shape. And I am just adding each leaf, putting a few little ridges on the sides to make it just look a little bit more natural. And I'm just adding the trees and the leaves and alternating as I go. I think I did like 6. I think I did 6 leaves. And I'm making a hole in the center because there's a giant flower on top of the palm trees. So I just took some bright yellow clay and I made a ball and then poked it in the center with the ball tool. And I am just going to take some darker yellow clay into a very tiny snake to make the stem that is in the center of the flower. And now I want to make a couple little flowers for the other side of the mountain. So I am just taking some green clay, rolling super teeny weeny leaves, and making kind of a clover, placing 4 of them together. And then I'm going to make a couple of white flowers, kind of the same way I made the big yellow flower on the palm tree, just a very tiny ball of clay, kind of moving the edges around a little bit and poking a hole in the middle, doing the same for both. And I'm also going to take the same bright yellow clay I used for the other flower and make little stems in those. And the last step we have before baking is I want to take some wire and place it all along the edge of the mountain because that is what our waves will sit on. Not waves, cloud will sit on. And now that it's done, it is time to bake. All right, now that it is out of the oven, I am just going to start making a foil armature for my cloud ring that goes around the mountain. Now, the point of this is not for it to look pretty. It's okay if it's a little dirty or if, you know, it's a little lumpy. The whole point is should just have a nice base because I am going to cover it with wool roving after it is baked. So, with that said, it is time to bake again. All right, now that we have the piece out of the oven, everything is baked. I have my piece, I have my wool, and it's time to take some pieces apart, separating things so that way I have some smaller pieces to work with. I'm going to pop off that little cloud ring, and I'm going to start using some Mod Podge and gluing little pieces on the ends. And I'm going to also start wrapping them around, kind of like a bandage, just going around in a circle, around and around and around. And I realized that this was probably a little messier than it should be, but this was the artistic vision that I had, so I stuck with it. And now that the piece is all dried, I'm just going to go ahead and take my scissors and trim around all of the excess, the little pieces that are coming off, some parts that may have been too thick. I'm just carefully going little bit by bit, making sure that it looks perfect. Okay, and now the cleanup. Just taking some acetone and cleaning off some fuzzies. I am glazing the water and the egg. And now the fun part of gluing the cloud in place. So I am just placed it on top and then glued the edges, and oh, it's so satisfying when I pop it off the tin. And then I am gluing it to a wooden base. That is it, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed watching this video as much as I did making it. I had a blast working on this figure. It was just so much fun working with all the different colors and textures. And if you did like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and ring that notification bell. That way you will be notified whenever I have a new video go up. And I think that's all I have left for today, so I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!